Hi, Carrie. Ashley here. Happy Sunday. I hope that you are enjoying your vacation in Antigua. I have never been there, and I hope I think you were on Zoom and it looked really pretty in the background. So I hope you're enjoying that. So going back to your video, I also chose the topic option one, defining the client lifestyle. I'm reading over some notes here, so don't mind me looking away. Number one was why would Dr. Carlson tie Gina's motivation back to her parents? You said something along the lines of to show her that she's likely to mirror what she saw as a child in her future with relationships, and that we're a product of our past. And I basically thought the same exact thing. Adler talked a lot about how it's the family's job to kind of teach social interest, and that the mistakes that are made within the family will kind of come back to haunt them, the children, as they're adults. I said this in my video, but I hated that word haunt. It just sounds so I don't know, scary, and yeah, it'll come back to them basically. Um, and that challenges that happen with a family will likely to result in and feeling a lack of sense of belonging. He also talked about how parental relationships are the model for relationships, and the way we see our parents as kids will influence the way our relationships are, or our partnerships, and not just romantic relationships, but I think also regular partnerships. So yeah, I totally agreed with you there. Number two um, was what basic life tasks does Gina describe? And I was right there with you. You said, her job and career, she talked a lot about that she really loved, and she was not willing, she didn't want to leave it. She loved her job. Her family was really important to her, and her sons, and being supportive and being there for them. Within the task of social interest, she talks a lot about her job in general does that. She, to her community, she teaches kids, she's there for them, she's supporting and helping her community in that aspect. And then the one that I thought she talked a lot about was, which kind of seemed like the main focus, was love, because she obviously struggled with her prior marriage, and she had a hard time leaving that marriage for the sake of her children. And then she goes, first she says she doesn't want a relationship, right? And then she says, well, maybe eventually she does, but she's not sure about commitment. And then she retracts and says, well, she would like to have a committed relationship. So she seems like that's kind of the area of focus for Gina, where she's not, she wants it, but she's not sure if she wants it, but she does ultimately want it. She's not ready for it yet. And then the last question was, he was talking about what interventions were used. And you had mentioned goal setting. Yeah, he was helping her set the goal of what she, with her, especially with her relationship, of what would it look like for you to picture yourself not being selfish, especially within your relationship, and how that it's affected her. And so that was a goal that he asked her to do. That lifestyle assessment, I didn't really touch on that in my video. And then the tasks, he went over all of those questions with her, absolutely. But I thought it was really I also noted that he was using a lot of recollection with her, as he was asking her to recall what her parents were like, and how she was similar to them, and who she was more like. He also used a lot of interpretation. She would say something, and he would kind of interpret it back to her. And as we discussed, or as we read, the client has the opportunity to kind of agree with that interpretation or not agree with it. And when Gina had, I think, agreed with his interpretation of the need to be selfish, and how it's been useful for her. And from there, he asked her to create the image. So in that goal setting, the way that it seemed like it was done was, he said to picture yourself working on selfishness and how it affected the relationship, how it could put closure on the relationship. And she was really reluctant to do it. She said, you know, something about how she could see herself doing it eventually, but she's still angry right now, so she's not quite ready. So that's what I also saw with some of the interventions and the way that Dr. Carlson worked with Gina with this Adlerian theory. Well, that's all I have for you. Great video, and I look forward to the next one. Have a good one. Bye.